2020's Birds of Prey is an underrated food film. Hi, I'm Bobby, this is Culture Catch, and while it's rare for an instance of food just being food and having no narrative purpose in film, comic book films don't often tend to give credence to the fuel of the supers. Of course, there are iconic culinary moments in superhero films like Tony Stark asking for and eating a cheeseburger during a press conference in Iron Man, or the famous Avengers Shawarma deleted scene from The Avengers. These films are often points of pausing on the action or gearing up for the next bout of it. But as far as specific food items being key storytelling points, it's a pretty rare practice. But Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn, directed by Cathy Yan and written by Christina Hodson, turns that notion on its head. Food guides us through the rehabilitation and emancipation of one Harleen Quinzel and punctuates her growth into our favorite, not quite a hero, not quite a villain. When we first see Harley, she's fresh off her breakup with one Mr. J, aka the Joker. Well, kinda. He's dropped her again, and she's decided to embrace it and live the single life without him. Again, kinda. She tries to start a new life without Joker. She takes up roller derby. She gets a pet, and she parties. A lot. First act of consumption we see in this film is Harley partaking in the recent breakup smorgasbord of canned cheese and drinks. Lots and lots of drinks. Harley is technically not publicly disclosed that she and Joker aren't together anymore, and her depression leads to her excessively partying and drinking. She essentially has immunity from Gotham's crime syndicate because they still think she and Joker are together and they don't want to incur the wrath of messing with the Joker's girl. However, after one night out where she overhears people who she thinks are her friends talking about how she can't stand on her own because they assumes she's still with Joker, this leads her to finally going public with their breakup by blowing up Ace Chemicals, which is where she became Harley Quinn officially and began her relationship with Joker. First meal, and perhaps the most important meal that we see in this film, is the infamous egg sandwich that Harley gets after a night of villainous debauchery. That is the hard launch of her breakup and is meant to mark the start of her new life, and she tells us as much.
What a way to start my new life with the perfect egg sandwich.
The scene is very reminiscent of food scenes that we see in Studio Ghibli films, especially in how it's presented. Like, think about it. We watched this sandwich being prepared in agonizingly delicious detail. The melt of the cheese, the sizzle of the grease on the bacon, the slight jiggle of the egg, which, fun fact, were duck eggs because Margot Robbie, who plays Harley Quinn, is allergic to chicken eggs. The more you know. All as it's scooped onto a buttered hoagie roll. Mwah. Delicious. We are just as enticed by the sandwich as Harley is, who is again reacting in a very Ghibli-esque, largely exaggerated way to the sandwich being prepared, and of course skimping out on the extra 75 cents that it costs. Before she can take that ever so satisfying bite, she is sent on a wild goose chase by all of her enemies. Some that she got during her relationship with Joker, and some that she got all on her own in the aftermath of her relationship with Joker. And ultimately it culminates in the scene with the sandwich flying into the air and landing on the pavement ruined. On a small level, this is devastating because it was a beautiful sandwich lay slain in the street. But on a larger level, Harley not being able to eat that sandwich, remember, a sandwich that she said was meant to be the start of her new life, means that she can't start her new life until she makes amends in her old one and makes amends with some of her old habits. Had this movie been made by people other than Yan and Hodson, Harley's journey of redemption scene with blowing up the factory would have been the end of her journey, not the beginning. However, Yan and Hodson wanted to explore who Harley would be without the net of the Joker, which has informed who she is literally since the character was introduced in Batman the Animated Series. The sandwich is the film's MacGuffin, and not the MacGuffin in the way of the bar that you see at some AMCs, but it's the thing that she goes on the journey for. No, she doesn't literally go on this narrative journey for a sandwich, though it's Harley, so maybe. But the chase that ends in the sandwich's demise means that until she makes things right, the target on her back is only going to get bigger. I also think the use of the bacon, egg, and cheese is very purposeful here too.
Let me get that bacon,
With the best
Culturally, bacon, egg, and cheeses are a staple of bodegas or corner stores in major cities like New York, and are a great way to start your day or a great way to end your night. And for some of us, it's been both at the same time. It's packed with butter and grease and is the ultimate comfort food, and comfort is definitely something that a character like Harley needs. When asked why the sandwich got such a spotlight in the film, Hodgson told Entertainment Weekly, saying, quote, "You wake up hungover and the only thing in the world that will make everything right again is a bodega sandwich. And that feeling of you don't have much money left, it's probably like with Harley, your last $3 or whatever, and it feels like the most momentous and most important thing in the whole world. And that's your true passion. It's almost like a reset button, a savory transition from the debauchery of the night before into a new tomorrow. In a lot of ways, the sandwich might have been her only friend in the world, so her devastation of its demise is more than justified. It's a sign that she'll never feel real comfort until she confronts the unknown of standing on her own. Another fun food moment is the grocery store scene with Harley and Cassandra. This scene comes on the heels of a major action sequence with Harley hunting down Cassandra, who has something that half of Gotham is now after, mainly Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor, and his sexy evil henchman Victor Zsasz, played by the best Chris Messina, who has contracted Harley as his mercenary. The two end up in the grocery store for two very specific reasons. Number one, the something that Cassandra possesses is a diamond, and a very special one at that, and she possesses it in a rather difficult way, and there's only one real way for Harley to extract the diamond from her, and it requires a laxative and some time. And number two, Harley has grocery shopping to do. While Harley technically does have Cassandra hostage, the two immediately fall into a big sister, little sister, cool aunt, cool niece dynamic, with Harley teaching Cassandra how to be like her, and Cassandra feeling comfortable enough to ask Harley if she can buy marshmallow fluff. Just as much as Harley's journey is about exploring her own independence, it's also about reckoning with her own loneliness. In her old life, she was in a relationship, but she was still lonely. Joker didn't really care about her in a way that she needed. She didn't have people who saw her beyond the surface or saw her beyond her value to them. Now she's met someone, albeit a kid, who sees her as cool and sees her as someone beyond just an accessory to the Joker. In fact, in a later scene in Harley's apartment, Cassandra doesn't even know who the Joker is, but she knows Harley. And that means a lot to her. So Harley may be a bit apprehensive, but it shows that she's softening up a bit. There's no better moment in adulthood than being a regular somewhere. The rush you feel of entering an establishment and everyone knows your order and your name. It's a special type of connection to identify someone by what they eat. It's platonically intimate and special. And that's exactly how Harley feels about Doc and Doc's Place, the Chinese takeout spot that she lives above. Harley has given her patronage to Doc's Place for years, and in turn, Doc has provided her safety and compassion in the moments when she's needed it most. And it all happened because of a meal. The number 32 with extra chilies. We don't often think about food being made in a restaurant or a fast food joint as an act of compassion, because that's the point of those establishments. But from a smaller mom and pop style restaurant, there is a real love shared in these places from the owners to the customers. They could choose to eat anywhere, but they chose to eat there, and that makes all the difference. Once you get into a rhythm with a spot, everything becomes sacred, and anything that disrupts it becomes sacrilege. So imagine the devastation that Harley feels when she finds out she's been sold out by Doc. She's forged a friendship with this man through his food. He took care of her and they looked out for one another. But at the first instance that he could sell her out, he does. This moment, she's questioning if he ever cared about her. Was his kindness only present because he too didn't want to incur the wrath of the Joker? Was she really just another customer to him? Did he put any love in her number 32 with extra chilies? It has her questioning everything and ultimately falling back on the laurel that there are no good people, no matter how much you try. The act of betrayal undoes all of what Harley might have believed about trusting others at this point in the film. If everyone is just 2 seconds away from letting her down anyways, then why should she bother? She falls back on the inherent belief that she has about herself, that she is a bad person, unworthy of loyalty or even base level kindness. But she's wrong. After a night of friendship, roller skates, and grenades, the group comprised of Harley, Cassandra, Black Canary, Huntress, and Detective Montoya get to finally enjoy their victory over Sionis over a round of morning margaritas, in a scene that mirrors the scene at the beginning of the film where Harley finds out that her roller derby team was talking behind her back. All of what Harley believed about others and herself was undone in one night. Throughout this film, the journey that Harley goes on is to learn that she is not just a creation of the Joker, and that she was a person before and after him, and that her life is not just treating everyone around her like he made her feel, which was expendable, but instead to embrace her life as an opportunity to build an all-new Harley. A Harley that works somewhat well with others. A Harley that realizes that she is worthy of true friendship. And a Harley that can do the right thing when it's convenient for her. Most importantly, a Harley of her own creation. And it's only when she learns that lesson that she can finally take that comforting, satisfying bite of her egg sandwich. But this time, she takes it in a getaway car, flanked by her new mentee Cassandra, on their way to start a new life. So you could say that that was a sandwich worth changing her life for.